The Leviathan, the Threnodian of Rinascita, depicted as an omniscient, all-seeing deity, with enough Threnodian in its core to sink the entirety of Septimont into the dark tide. So the question is asked, how does one defeat a foe that reads your very thoughts, knows your very actions, and is using your body as a vessel to destroy the world? Well, you go in blind. The dark tide has been a lingering thought for everyone in Rinascita for far too long, and the threat of the impending doom is finally on the verge of deliverance. Thanks to the Fraxidus' influence, mainly Christoforo, all of the pieces have been set for the demise of every Ragunisi. Mia's corpse has been grinded to form the Threnodian gem, which will be used to accelerate the Dark Tide's release. Fenrico acts as a seal to the Dark Tide, standing as a statue to hold back the pouring energy. Avidius lacks all sense of purpose, as he wonders why he was brought into existence, and Cartethyia, a being that holds a piece of the Threnodian, as a catalyst that will end Rinascita. Christoforo is responsible for it all. Everything from the start has been a part of his script, and Rover, Cartethyia, and everyone has been playing right into his hands. As Rover battles against premonitions of fate of each of his fallen comrades, he sees the fate of Rinascita, a desolate wasteland swallowed up by the dark tide, and at the top of the world stands the inverted tower. The source of it all is Cartethyia's very home. Rover, having received the civilization capsule as a result of sealing the dark tide in the hunt with Augusta, but he is unable to open it, as the key is a piece of the Leviathan's power, which is the deity that is born from the Threnodian in Rinascita. Cartethyia, being an existence that was fused with the Threnodian, is that very key to open up this capsule and learn the secrets that it holds. So, Rover travels to pay Cartethyia a visit. Upon reaching the inverted castle, however, and moments before entering into her presence, Rover is met by Cantarella, whom is also paying Cartethyia a visit. As they reminisce and catch up, they are interrupted by a bang. In what felt like mere moments, Cartethyia is assassinated by a lone gunman who broke through the sonorosphere that is Cartethyia's domain, shooting her straight through the heart. Rover and Cantarella do what they can do to save Cartethyia, but it's too late. Something strange happens, however. Instead of her frequency fading, her frequency holds that of the Threnodian. But how could this be? Cartethyia is one of the most powerful resonators that has ever existed. She is the sentinel resonator of Rinascita. How could she be killed so easily? And she was killed by the same woman who Rover saw in a vision of Rinascita's destruction. None of this adds up, however, and there's got to be more to it. Rover sets off to find these answers while Cantarella takes Cartethyia to protect her and keep her safe in her very own mansion. There was a truth to this, and while Rover doesn't know it yet, he would go forth, blindly, in order to solve this very mystery. The Threnodian's influence has spread across Rinascita in the mere moments that Rover was gone for. The creatures of the Dark Tide have taken over the city, spawning all over Rinascita. As Rover returns from the inverted towers, he actually hears this news from Avidius, a gladiator who was on a quest to find his purpose.
What a hollow existence. Who scripted your delusions?
You mentioned you left Tetragon Temple to search for the Quill Bearer here in Raguna, right?
I grew weary of waiting. When I heard rumors of his presence in Raguna, I came to find him myself. No trace of him yet, but I've learned this much. Here no verses were ever penned about me. The Ragunesi know not my name, past, nor the prophecy I once carried. Here, I am a completely blank page.
Avidius is an anomaly in this world. He knows his existence is a fabrication. Nothing about it makes sense, and here he is living in this world. While on the hunt, his purpose was to become the heroes of heroes, a goal that was endowed onto him by someone known as the Quill Bearer. But here in Rinascita, Avidius can be his own person. He can create his own destiny and live his own life, and that's exactly what he's trying to do. Rover, inspired by Avidius' solemn vow, agrees to his plight and urges him to craft his own destiny. As they finally find a common goal, they join up, with the goal of getting rid of the dark tide that is currently plaguing Rinascita. As the two forge a path forward, they make their way to Alvarado Bank, where Carlotta and Zani have been working together to evacuate the citizens inside the vault for protection. As they arrive, however, ready to assist in their actions, another bang cracks through the battlefield. The very same noise that sounded with the end of Cartethia's life. Standing before Rover was the very same resonator that murdered Cartethyia, a being known as the Discord Slayer, and at her feet are the allies of Carlotta, defeated and shot dead. Or at least, that's how it appears, until Galbrena shoots one of them, revealing that they are just beings created for the Dark Tide. Nonetheless, the team is on standby, ready to act if Galbrena provokes them, but before either side can act, Fenrico appears, with members of the Order?
Demon, your sins are ripe for judgment. By the highest will's command, I shall strike down all that you have wrought. Justice shall be done.
You're not Fenrico at all. Who are you? What do you want?
Rover knows that the real Fenrico can't be here. He's standing before the Dark Tide and acting as a seal. It's impossible for him to be here. This is nothing but a fake. Something that Galbrena already knows.
Wields the Dark Tide's power, yet you dare judge me?
It's too bad I'm not the one judging. If the Dark Tide's power isn't enough to convince, how about we try this? The envoys declare the guilt, but Imperator is the only true judge. By the light of Imperator, repent!
The light of Genesis sparks forward, revealing the truth. These beings are creatures of the Dark Tide and are mere illusions, and they must be destroyed.
Avidius, you have received the blessing of my master. Serve your true divinity.
I shall never back down! Rover, now!
Having come in contact with the powers of the Threnodian within Avidius, Rover, Avidius, and Galbrena are sucked into the civilization capsule, which is finally unlocked thanks to the Threnodian's power. Inside, we are able to speak directly to the untainted Sentinel. However, this isn't the true Sentinel. Unfortunately, it's just a mere message. A message directed to Rover, who has once regained access to the capsule. And within this area, the Sentinel of Rinascita speaks of the birth of Rinascita and the birth of the Leviathan.
In the beginning, life rose and fell with the tide. The displaced and wandering did follow my guidance. They journeyed unto the archipelago. There, I did leave knowledge and technology, that they might walk the path to freedom.
Your light blesses us.
We follow your will.
To build our republic. became the bedrock of civilization. But Leviathan seized upon mankind's longing for unity to manifest civilization's shadow. It spoke in my name, built false miracles, forged hollow grace, feeding on stagnant, obedient minds.
We are blessed by the sea. By you, we are unified. By you, we are born. From the sea we came, and to the sea we shall return.
From the founding of civilization, it had invaded their spirit and beliefs. I rose against it, only to unleash the dark tide. It scarred Rinascita beyond measure. I began to question all I had done. The Threnodian did steer Rinascita's fate. And I too once guided Rinascita's course. In truth, we were no different. We both sought to mold civilization after our own will. Those who truly walked the land were never granted the right to choose. Civilizations are bound with Threnodians. No eternal solution doth exist. Have I the right to choose their fate? The shaping of a civilization must belong to its people.
The Leviathan doesn't wish to destroy Rinascita. What the Leviathan wants is to claim Rinascita's fate and to walk the path of divinity. They must be unified within the Leviathan and live together with the Leviathan. The Ragunisi and the Threnodian must become one, and the Leviathan would make it happen. As Rover comes to realize the truth behind Rinascita's destined fate, he sees Galbrena, the woman who killed Cartethyia, but this was all a part of Cartethia's plan.
You killed the Blessed Maiden before my eyes. Raguna's disasters are tied to your actions. Now, tell me what I need to know.
If I told you I acted to save Cartethyia, would you believe me? This place is protected by Imperator. For now, Leviathan can't hear us. This is for you.
Righteous One, trust her, and trust me. Everything we've done is to defeat Leviathan.
Within this area, they are separate from the Leviathan's influence, from the Leviathan's omnipotent powers. So, it cannot know the conversations or thoughts of those in this area, nor does it know the plans of Cartethyia and Galbrena. But they can't let Rover in on this secret because Rover is not immune to the Threnodian's influence. So, Rover is left with one choice: blind fate. Rover may not trust Galbrena, but the one thing that he does trust is Cartethyia. So that is who he puts his faith into. As they race to escape the collapsing area known as the Civilization Capsule, Cartethyia and Zani were able to hold down the dark tide as Rover was inside the capsule. However, Avidius has left not too long ago.
I must move quickly. Silence, you maddening whispers! No, I'll be damned before I accept a fate like that. There must be something left I can still do. I won't let the same tragedy happen twice.
He's headed for Fisalia Fells.
Trouble is brewing in Cantarella's location, and her home, located in Thresalia Falls, has come under the attack of the Dark Tide. Rover and Galbrena arrived, and Cantarella and her forces have pushed back the Dark Tide, but not before the Dark Tide has corrupted a member of the Fisalias, and their family is very vulnerable to the influence of the Dark Tide.
It's too late, my lady. My mind can't be fixed. Save your potions for those who still have hope.
The Fisalia bloodline's ties with Leviathan run too deep. Their ancient fears were the first to be awakened. This is the true horror of the evolved Dark Tide. It feeds on human despair, warping that frequency to form Tidespawn. Your family's antidote can still cure those lightly infected. But for those whose corruption runs deep, like him, their frequencies cannot be reversed. All we can offer is the dignity of dying as a human.
My lady, don't let me burden those who still have hope.
Matriarch of Fisalia, I understand the cruelty of such a choice. If you cannot strike the final blow, allow me.
Fisalia blood must be ended by Fisalia hands.
Thank you. May glory return to the Fisalians.
The Fisalias have been able to hold back the corruption of the Dark Tide with potions, but just in small doses. This was far too much, especially for Gilberto. Phoebe arrives with backup to take on the rest of the Dark Tide's forces, and Galbrena reminds Rover that they have a mission, and that is Avidius, the very same gladiator who left to chase after the Threnodian. Phoebe and her forces would be able to hold down the Dark Tide in this area, but the main focus was finding the Harbinger, the very same Harbinger that Avidius was chasing after. Galbrena and Rover are searching for the Harbinger of the Dark Tide, a being that holds the power of the Dark Tide and a being that holds the Leviathan. Killing that Harbinger will bring an end to the Dark Tide and save Septimont. And that very same Harbinger has become Avidius.
It's you. Forgive me that you have to see me like this. When the civilization capsule opened, I was dragged inside. A black frequency took hold of me, swallowed me whole.
Avidius, remember who you are. Remember the man you wanted to become.
Fate lies within the dark tide. No one mistakes the melting costs.
I know. The Dark Tide devours everything. Assimilates everything. If I can't escape it, then I'll use it. It's already flowing inside of me. So why can't I turn it against them? Why can't I be the one who devours them? These false frequencies need me to survive. If this power doesn't want to listen to me, then I'll show it who's the real boss. Fate may be loud, but I don't think it's that strong. I don't believe in it.
Avidius was a being that was written into the world for one purpose: to serve as Christoforo's actor in his script. And with that purpose fulfilled, what else was he supposed to be? Was he just an empty shell? He thought that he could live on and find his own destiny, only for him to be a puppet of the very fate that he was supposed to create. You may as well let that power take over you after all. Being powerless is something that Avidius is used to, right? He was brought into this world with someone else's power, so he may as well let that power consume him, but something tells him about the very power that resides inside her, a power that she was able to conquer.
I still have a move to make. By my spear, I vow to protect my allies and crush the hearts of the evil. I will absorb all of the tide spawning. Kill me and the calamity ends here.
Avidius!
There's no time! Discord Slayer, I saw your past in the tide. I know what you seek to do. Take my power and finish it. That too is my wish.
I promise I will. Give me all your bitterness. We will make them pay.
Pathetic as he was, in his final moments, he outran his fate. Now, why greet our reunion with animosity? Before the tides of fate, we are all but players on a stage.
Avidius surely makes his move. He gave his life to stop the Threnodian, to end Leviathan, and to create his own fate. He withstood the control of the Threnodian and shaped his own destiny, freeing himself from the Dark Tide's influence. But despite his valiant efforts, it was all for naught.
A truly moving scene. Pitiful, doomed soul struggling to reclaim his fate in the final hour. Alas, his script was written long ago. In this scene, he was always fated to exit.
Despite Avidius' efforts to end the Dark Tide in Rinascita, the Harbinger can only be a real person. Therefore, his efforts were in vain. However, he was able to quell the Dark Tide within him and choose to end his own fate, rather than to follow in the wills of the ones who controlled him. As Christoforo laments the fate of Avidius, someone who reached far past what his fate depicted, he has laid out a script, an exact script of the future, the very same script that we have already been following, but unable to break free of. With Christoforo gone, it's time to return to Cantarella. The Harbinger's location is now unknown, so Galbrena and Rover must track it down so that they can free Rinascita from the Dark Tide's influence.
How are you feeling, Rover?
Stand down. I said, stand down. Fall back.
Rover stands amongst his friends and allies, but what's with the look that he's receiving? It's as if Rover has become the enemy. But let's rewind a bit.
I'm so scared. great hero, Rover. Cantarella told me stories about you. She said you're just like the heroes in the adventure. But you can't save everyone.
Don't go. Don't leave. Don't abandon us.
Cartethyia?
Mortals need salvation. Mortals need unity. Righteous One, open the Ascendant gates for me.
This world doesn't belong to you, Leviathan. Chimera!
Cartethyia, Mia, Fenrico. They all exist inside the Threnodian, and they are all beings that have crossed that boundary. A boundary known as the Journeying Paradise. What lays beyond that boundary, we don't know, but it's a realm created by the Leviathan. The fact that Rover is seeing these visions is something far more sinister, however. The Fisalia stand before Rover, ready to kill the very same hero that they held in such high regards, but Cantarella stands within their way and orders them to stand down.
But, Lady Cantarella, we all saw it, just now!
Enough. I told you to stand down. You've withstood the whispers before. Will you forget your loyalty to your comrades in the face of fear?
Cantarella was able to convince her fellow Fisalians to stand down, but just what has happened to Rover? Well, you see, Avidius was the Harbinger of the Dark Tide. However, the true Harbinger to bring about the Dark Tide must be a real living person. Avidius was but a trap, laid down by Christoforo for years. This trap was planned, and that trap has been sprung, because against all odds, Rover has become the Harbinger of the Dark Tide. This is just part 1 of the conclusion of the Septimont story, so go ahead and check out part 2 here, or it'll be uploaded shortly, as well as checking out the pinned comment. Subscribe for more lore-related Wuthering Waves videos, and don't forget to like the video as well. Stay tuned for part 2. This has been VoidEnigma, out.